Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Back on the Spyder, picking it up from the dealer after they repaired my suspension fault. So in this video we'll talk about the root cause of the suspension fault, and I'll also talk to you about some problems with BRP warranty that I learned about, so stick around. Well guys, from your intro you can see I'm back on the Spyder. Very exciting day. It's been a long 2 weeks and 3 days for this latest issue at the dealer. This is visit number 5 for a warranty issue, and now I'm eclipsing about 4 months of out of service time and a little bit of a less than a year that I've owned this, so that's where I'm at. But it's a good day. Good day to have the Spyder back, and I'm on the road. And let me give you a little update. So, to let you know the root cause of the suspension fault I was getting, if you're just joining or you're new to the channel, I was riding here not too long ago and I had a warning pop up on the instrument cluster along with a little shock over here, and it said suspension fault. Now, there was no accompanying code saved in the cluster. It just would pop up on and off while I was driving. So obviously I knew I had some kind of a suspension fault. And my intent was to just kind of, since it was intermittent, just drive it as much as I could, I guess, until I could get it into the dealer. And then I noticed one day, and maybe you guys even caught it in my video, I sounded a little funny, even my voice going down the road, and I'm like, wow, this thing is riding kind of harsh. And I got home and I checked the rear airbag and the Schrader valve on the rear suspension, and come to find out there was little to no air in that suspension. So I was kind of dragging butt, kind of bouncing on the suspension in the rear, and that's why I may have sounded in my videos like I was going over like bumps, like and I didn't really realize it at the time. And then I was like, oh shoot, I really don't want to ride this. I need to get it in for service quickly, because there's no way I want to ride around with a deflated airbag. So that's when I found out that they were 2 weeks out for service. So like I said, total 2 weeks and 3 days, but the ultimate root cause was a compressor failure. So I don't know what the frequency of compressor failures really is. Seems like a compressor should last more than 2,133 miles, but add it to the list of issues that I've had. Now it's fixed, and hopefully I am good to go. Going down the road nice and smooth. So that's the latest saga. Like I said, I don't know if compressor failures are common. I know Spyder Chris just went through this. I know others on the forums have had this. I reached out to BRP customer service. Believe it or not, I have them on speed dial with all my issues, and I asked them point blank and they say it's not a chronic issue, but I expected them to say that. Their response was, it's a mechanical item, things break, mine happened to break, they don't consider it an issue because there's no recall on it, which I don't really think is the right answer, because you can have chronic issues and not have a recall. But their explanation was, hey, there's no recall on it, so we don't consider it a chronic issue. Maybe internally they do, but outwardly to me they would not indicate that there was a chronic problem. So kind of what I expected, but I just wanted to, inquire. I knew I wasn't really going to get an answer that was probably going to satisfy me to an extent, but just one of those things. I mean, I used to, in my former job before retirement at one of the big 3 automakers, I was in quality, and I know that any manufacturer of vehicles to a certain capacity is going to understand and check your warranty numbers. And when you start seeing something percolate to the top of a Pareto as a problem, you know you've got to do something about it. Now, I'm guessing compressor failure is probably in some Pareto on somebody's desk at BRP, because I don't think I'm alone, but I could be wrong. But like I said, compressor failure, let's move on. If any of you have had something similar, let me know. I have heard of other root causes to the intermittent suspension fault, like a bad relay or a leaky hose or a bad adjustment rod. I did check the adjustment rod. It was fully hooked up, stuff like that. So heads up, if you've got an intermittent suspension fault, you might be in for a compressor replacement. So The other topic I wanted to talk about today is BRP warranty work. And I don't mean the quality of work, I mean the fact that, and I have two sources for what I'm about to say, but I've learned through my warranty experience with this Spyder that BRP definitely has an issue with warranty. And what I mean by that is there seems to be an overwhelming amount of Spyders in the shop for warranty work. And number one, I've learned that not all Can Am on-road dealers perform warranty work. And I found this out because the dealer I bought this from went out of business. And I've been dealing with the dealer I've been dealing with ever since. But in my quest to cut down the time in the shop on this suspension failure, because I knew they were 2 weeks out, I was calling around the other dealers, and I actually went to a dealer closer to my house that sells Can Am on road. And I asked them point blank, went to the service department, and I said, hey, do you do warranty work on Spyders? And their answer was no. And unsolicited to me, the gentleman's response in the next sentence was, BRP doesn't pay us enough. And I was surprised by that. So they sell the product, but they're not willing to perform warranty work at that dealership. And it's because they feel that BRP doesn't pay them enough. And I imagine any manufacturer probably has what they call a book time. That just means when you go in for work, they diagnose it, and they're going to go and look into the system, and BRP or the manufacturer of the product to the dealer is going to tell them this is X amount of hours to fix the issue. And that's what you get paid. You get paid book time to fix the issue at the manufacturer suggested rate. And it seems to me like BRP has a problem because they're not paying their dealers enough to the point where they don't want to work on Spyder warranty. And that's just one data point. My second data point is the dealer I just left, they're the ones that fixed my oil leak and coolant leak in the new cylinder head, and it was there for 3 months. And I have a friend who services that dealer in another capacity from another manufacturer, but is very, very close with the owner of the dealership. And he was telling me here lately that the owner and him were talking, and they brought up my situation in my Spyder, and the owner was like, hey, tell your friend we lost our butt on his Spyder repair, and I hope he comes back to buy something from us in the future. And when I heard that, I was kind of taken aback by it, because as an end customer, you don't realize who's making money. You just know that you have a product under warranty and you're getting it fixed. And so I was like, wow, so they supposedly, quote unquote, lost their butt on my oil leak, coolant leak, multiple months in their shop repair. And my guess is because BRP set a book rate and they did it, and they probably took longer, and therefore, the dealership pays their employees, but they didn't get enough back from BRP. So that's my second data point to think that BRP maybe should look at their rates and book time and decide, there are just people who don't want to work on their products. And it's sad that we may have to go as customers, drive farther or be inconvenienced to find a dealer who is willing enough to work on Spyders. And I know if you look on the internet, people watch the Sean Smokes vlog, because he's a Spyder tech, I think out in the West Coast. But actually, he's mentioned in his video that he's part-time salary, so he gets a salary, and I think he gets some of the book time. But in his case, maybe he's making up the difference. But from what I can see, from a dealer telling me they don't get paid enough, and then the second data point about my friend saying that the dealer I just came from didn't make money off my Spyder, seems to me BRP has a problem, and it's going to ripple through. And in the end, we, the customer, are going to pay for it in one capacity or another. I mean, not monetarily, but have to go out of our way. Dealerships may close. They can't support themselves. There's a lot of reasons why that's a bad thing if the manufacturer is not supporting the dealer in a way that they could be, making money or stay above board. I know there's other ways to make money in dealerships, but it's just one of those things. So So anyway, that's just something I've learned. I don't know if you guys have feedback. Maybe there's some folks that watch this channel that are more intimate to the BRP world of techs and repair, but like I said, my experience with this machine and finding out what I found out is BRP's got a little bit of a problem on the back end of their shop that really we shouldn't notice, but it's just interesting that I've heard that from two sources, and you know, it's just one of those things. And it's disappointing to hear, but like for me, hopefully I'm done. I've said this before. I'll knock on some plastic. Maybe this is it, and I'm gonna have many trouble-free miles and not have to go back. But I'm gonna reset the clock here and, you know, go on more adventures, and we'll see if this Spyder can handle it, and hopefully I'm not in the shop. So that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoy the video. Ride safe out there, and we'll catch you in the next one, everybody. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.